Gather around for the greatest story of this era, for the story of how a boy became a man, for the greatest story concerning this man, yes, how he wound up here. Our story begins on a beautiful, beautiful day in May when this man took a plane to here. After magically winding up here, he then did some cool stuff, like taking the tube and looking at advertisements for games and, yeah, getting pictures taken of him on the tube. And he went to the London Eye, which is this big Ferris wheel thing, and he took a picture with this beautiful clock. And he took a picture with some friends, too, and, well, they weren't friends then, but he later made friends, and, that's really all that matters, is he made friends. And he took a picture of that clock again. And then he had some assignments where he had to go to certain places, and he took some pictures. And then he'd go out with friends that he made, and go out again with friends, and, cause havoc in local areas. And then he met friends from home that he didn't know were there, and they were there. And oh, look, more friends. This guy has so many friends. And then he took a boat to Greenwich, even though it's clearly spelled Greenwich, and he went to the Queen's house where he saw some cool things the Queen actually gave him. Well, he didn't give, she didn't give him, but he just looked at him, took some pictures, took some pictures of stuff he shouldn't have. And then he took some pictures with friends. And, he took a lot of pictures with friends. And, oh, he saw the Prime Meridian. He saw the line, and he said, I'm not going to go see the Prime Meridian. Look at that line. He took some more pictures with friends. He later returned to the flats where he could smile and, hang out the window and chat with people in the places next to him. But then, oh, look at that. He went to Oxford. And he took some pictures of some buildings in Oxford. Wow, look at those buildings. He was pretty sure they didn't have buildings in America, so he made sure to take a lot of pictures. And then he got a picture of some tree with a lot of people, even though he had no idea the significance of the tree. And then he went back here, and when he was done here, he got on a plane with his friend, and he went to Germany, where they had this big wishing well type thing in the middle of the mall. And then they had this in the middle of the mall. And he had no idea really what was going on here, and he saw some Americans, so he felt at home, felt really at home. And then he saw that communism is still alive and well. Then he saw some nice statues. Very nice statues. Then he saw a little, fountain. And then he met up with some more friends in Germany, because what type of guy doesn't have friends in Germany? Later wound up here, and to this day he still has no idea whose car that is. Wound up here just so he could also wind up back at Cubana with these guys. These guys were his friends, but little did they know Drake Vaquero was getting drunk for one of the first times in his life here. Look at that picture. How is that guy not drunk? Then he figured he'd hop on the overground and head on over to a ball pit themed bar where he drowned. Just kidding, he came back to life and went and saw Harry Potter, even though he has no knowledge of that stuff. But it's alright. Then he went to Paris and he saw some big tower that people care about and some building that people care about. Apparently, a church. And then his friend actually started to control the birds around them. These were the three comrades he took with him to Paris. He made sure they would do anything he needed to. And he decided to go up in the Eiffel Tower, take some pictures, and drink some really, really shitty champagne, even though it was rosé. They said it was going to be nice. And his friend did some bird watching, wondering where his birds went, and then Drake spent most of his money on treats because they were just too good not to. After making some terrible decisions and seeing a lot of great, neat stuff in France, and, well, this picture isn't supposed to be in here. Sorry about that. Yeah, that one's better, right there. So he did a lot of pretty neat things. He even took a picture of this guy a lot of people were taking pictures of. But then he returned. How the prodigal son returned to the beautiful and non-garbage taken out flats. It was his last week, so he decided, hey, why not go to where the greatest band ever recorded? The Beatles. So he took a picture of the street, and then, like everyone else and their mom, decided to replicate the album cover, because why not? He took one last peek out his bedroom window, went to bed, and then woke up, and he had to lock the gate behind him as he left, and his story ended. Just kidding, he wound up in Scotland, Edinburgh, Scotland to be exact, where he walked around the city and took some pictures for a while. More pictures, more pictures, more pictures. This is a lot for a guy that really doesn't take pictures at all. After that, he said he wanted a challenge in his life, so he decided to climb up a mountain, where he took this great non-shaky video footage at the top. Excellent footage, my man. Excellent. He then figured he might as well get the other people that climbed up to the same mountain, but not nearly as fast, to take photos of him and those people he enjoyed being in the presence of. I mean, come on, it's basically a free photo shoot. Typically, they make people pay for these things nowadays. After climbing a mountain, he climbed down, then said, hey, you know what, let's go to a castle, where he climbed up this luscious jungle path, where he saw waterfalls that he didn't think they had in America. This was his castle that he later claimed as his own, even though people apparently said he couldn't do that. So he took a beautiful picture, and he took some pictures of friends hanging out. Just hanging out, you know, all over the castle. Wow, this castle's really green around. It was really nice. And then he took another group photo, because nothing says you have friends like group photos. And he took another one, but this time with a flag that you only see half of. Oh, and then he decided, you know what, let's go to Spain. And then after Spain, he's like, oh, Portugal, JK, we're not staying in Spain. And he took this very, very beautiful and intriguing photo off the cliff, which he later jumped off of. Just kidding. He went to town in Portugal and saw some neat graffiti. And then he went back to Spain and he saw this big weird thing. And he got up top and he took this picture of what just looks like a normal, everyday city. And then he went back and he enjoyed his last few days eating alcoholic ice cream that he didn't get drunk off of, watching movies and walking by this, and attending the Edinburgh Film Festival. And after a missed plane in Amsterdam later, our hero returned home.